Thank goodness it is August, because for us in the Southern Hemisphere, that means the final month of winter. However, sadly for my friends in the North, it's also your final month of summer, so soak up those warm days while you can. Hey there friends, it's Carly. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new here, and welcome to today's video, which is our August reset routine. I do not typically enjoy the winter season, but I have really been trying to make the most of the month of July and incorporate some cozy moments and cozy hobbies into my day-to-day life wherever possible to just create an uplifting and warm atmosphere. One of the things that I've been loving doing lately is coloring, and I have officially finished my butterfly coloring in book, and I didn't want to just leave it sitting in the cupboard, so I did tear out some of my favorite pages and made like a little bit of a decorative space on my door in my little filming area. I've also been doing heaps of reading, heaps of cleaning and decorating throughout the house, whether that's adding artwork, cozy throw blankets and cushions, lighting candles, just things to create a little bit of a hygge atmosphere, if you will. Another focus of mine during this month has been trying to reignite my health journey, incorporating a little bit more daily movement, whether it's a bit more of a brisk walk with the dog or a short exercise video, and being a bit more intentional about shopping, planning out our groceries and eating healthy food. I also bought this little notebook. I'm not sure if it was this month or if it was last month, but I filled up my previous one, so I'm going to start filling up this one, just creating a little bit of a title page and then more of kind of like a vision board page, if you will, sort of setting the atmosphere of what I want life to look like in terms of slow and intentional living, and then also taking some notes from some of the books that I'm reading. I just love having a little notebook where it's kind of like a mishmash of all the things that I love: poems, pictures, notes from books, different brainstorms, just all things sort of blended together to help uplift me and aid in that personal development. Part of my health journey has also been taking some more gut prebiotics and getting out and spending time in nature and spending time with friends, which is something that I have done more so while having a 7-month-old baby than I ever did as just a single human. I have more of a social life these days than ever, and it's crazy yet fantastic considering how much of an introvert I am. I'm also prioritizing a little bit of pampering here, doing some hair removal, face mask, my everything shower, moisturizing, washing my hair, adding like a little bit of ambience and atmosphere, and it's just so nice to treat myself. I was originally a little bit down because I thought that I had not been successful in my July goals, but I checked over them again and realized that I actually ticked off 4 out of the 5 goals. So that is a reminder to both myself and you guys to be a little bit gentler on yourself. So for the goals that I was able to achieve, save $1,000. Not only did I save $1,000, but I actually saved more this month, so I feel really good about that. The second one was complete winter bucket list. If you saw my part 2 winter bucket list video, which was just before this one, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's really cute and cozy. I did mention in there that there were maybe some things on the bucket list that logistically I wasn't able to achieve, but I felt really happy with the things that I was able to get done, and it really helped to romanticize the winter season for me. Number 3, finalize internal decor. Also, if you haven't checked out my mid-year home reset video, go do that as well, because I feel really good about how the place is looking so far. It's not 100% finished, but it's as close as I'm going to get for now. We've got new furniture in, new artwork, new decor, we've got blinds in the 2 back rooms, so I feel like it's looking a lot more put together and cozier. And then the 4th goal that I was able to achieve is weekly meal prep and plan. I have gotten back onto the habit of having like a weekly meal planner and going and sort of starting to jot down ideas for meals for the week and use that as the basis of creating a shopping list. I feel like it has helped, number 1, in decreasing our weekly grocery shop spend, but also number 2, in reducing food waste, which both of those things are fantastic. So I'm really feeling actually a lot better about how I've gone in July and achieving my goals. Let me know in the comments down below, did you have goals that you set for the month of July? And if so, were you successful? And to what degree were you successful in achieving them? And we can celebrate together. The one goal that I wouldn't say I was unsuccessful in achieving is no spend days weekly. I was able to have weekly no spend days, but I feel like I was not as specific about how many days a week I wanted to have as no spend days. I think in my mind, when I thought of no spend days, I thought that I would only be having like 2 or 3 days where I was spending money, and the other 4 or 5 would be no spend. And because I wasn't meeting that idea of what my week was going to look like, I felt a little bit disheartened by it. Probably for the first couple of weeks, it was maybe like 2 no spend days, maybe 3 a week. And obviously one day needs to be a grocery shopping day, and there were just a couple of days where I'm just going out and I'm doing a walk or going to the library and I'm having a coffee with a friend. And so therefore I was spending money, but the amount of money that I was spending as a whole over the week has definitely decreased since the start of the year. And even though I'm spending money on a daily basis, it is a small amount. Granted, these small amounts, like 1 coffee a day, does add up over time, or like whatever it might be that is your guilty pleasure, it does add up over time. But I can't beat myself down too much about it, and I do think I had a little bit of unrealistic expectations when it came to how many no spend days I was actually going to complete. So that brings me to my August goals, and I feel like I've been more specific because I do want to carry the no spend days over into August, and I'd like to have at least 3 no spend days a week. And perhaps rather than just like going through the week aimlessly and seeing which days could be no spend days, I could look at my calendar at the start of the week, see what things I've got planned, and strategically place the no spend days. And I feel like these are some of the things that you've got to do if you really want to achieve a goal. You've got to be more specific, more strategic, and that will just help you to achieve it. Like, I mean, this is very small. It's a no spend day, but if I want to make it a habit and I want to make it something that I feel good about at the end of the month, I need to be able to plan it and schedule it in. So that's my first goal. My second goal is, now that winter bucket list is done and we are moving into spring here in the Southern Hemisphere, I want to create a spring bucket list. I did have someone ask on my first winter bucket list video where I got that from. I didn't purchase it, I made it myself on Canva. The first one that I made, which was the winter one, I made it like last year. And The first one took me quite a bit of time because I had to create everything from scratch, but then I have subsequently created a summer one and an autumn one, and I was able to just copy the templates over and then just change out the colors, change out some of the images. And the most time consuming part of it for me at the moment is like just the little bits of getting together the what will be spring movie recommendations, spring book recommendations, spring bucket list ideas. And I get some of those from the top of my head, but I also go on Pinterest and I get some ideas. I just go on Google and I search up like spring bucket list and get some ideas from there as well. So I'm pulling bits from, you know, all over the shop to kind of weave it together into my own bucket list. I originally did have them up on an Etsy store. I had Carly Hampton planners as my Etsy store where I had my bucket list and other different planners, but I found that the costs of renewing the item and publishing an item were outweighing the costs, like the profits of me actually selling things, because, you know, it's heavily saturated on Etsy, especially in terms of digital products. And where I may have, you know, in the long run been able to earn some sort of money from it, just that initial, I wasn't willing to wait it out essentially and just incur all of these upfront costs for potentially being able to earn something in the long run. So for now, I have taken down all of my digital products and I'm just using them myself. I feel like if one day in the future I had a larger audience that was more interested in purchasing these sort of products, then perhaps it would be more worthwhile to me to reinstate that store. And I guess that gives me a little bit more time to fine-tune things, test things out for myself a little bit more, and see, I guess, what people want and what's going to be helpful for people. So that's that in a nutshell, because I kind of mentioned that at some point and then I just didn't talk about it at all after that. So that's the story behind that. So my spring bucket list, my 3 no spend days, and my final goal for August is try a capsule wardrobe. I will probably make an entire video on this, but essentially I've been really inspired by Madison Gray's videos, and she is very much into the 10 item wardrobe. I feel like it's very much an extreme capsule wardrobe. I've tried capsule wardrobes before, but not 10 items. So it is going to be a challenge for me. So I'm keen to give it a go and report back to you guys how it went. Is it realistic, achievable? Did I like it? What items did I select for my capsule wardrobe? So stay tuned for that, and hopefully I have some good news to report back to you rather than it sucked and it was terrible. I'm hoping that it's going to be yeah, a fun and interesting experience. I'm sad to admit, but my books this month have not gone down well. I have only selected 2 of my TBR, and as you can see, for both of them, I'm only a bit over halfway at the end of the month. And for me, the marker of a good book is where I say, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do my chapter, because I typically do 1 chapter of each book per day. But when I do my chapter and I want to keep reading, like 1 chapter is not enough, I know that I'm into it and it's a good book. But for me, for both of these books, I was really having to struggle and challenge myself each day to get the chapter done. I feel like I am currently preferring Wrong Place, Wrong Time over Dark Places. This one was a Shale recommendation, and I feel like we have definitely established that Shale and I, my sister, do not have the same taste. In saying that, Gillian Flynn is also the author of Gone Girl, and I've read that one as well and seen the movie, and I did like that book. I don't know what it is specifically about this book. I feel like it is a mix of things. Number one, not only is it told from multiple perspectives, but it's also past and present. So every single chapter we're deviating in time, in perspective, and it's not necessarily that it's just confusing, it's just that you can't really get attached to anyone. Second to that is that the main character is not particularly likable. She is a very flawed character. Her entire family almost got murdered quite some time ago, but I don't know necessarily whether she hasn't been able to move on with her life, or just she hasn't had the motivation to do so, and has been capitalizing on the murders rather than like trying to better herself and live a good life or get a job or have any sort of ambitions or any sort of like moral compass. She's just trying to mooch off anything that she can related to the death of her family, which is pretty brutal. So I'm still trying to figure out who committed the crimes. I've sort of deviated between a couple of suspects, and at this point I have one in mind or two in mind, but I'm not quite sure. I also think the fact that it is set in like farmland Kansas, and I live in coastal Australia, like I just cannot relate to the setting as well. So I feel like all of those things combined is really making it challenging for me to read this. So I'm gonna rate this currently as a 3.5 out of 5. And I'm going to rate this one currently as a 4 out of 5. I really like the premise of this. So the protagonist, a mother, has witnessed her son kill someone outside of their house, which is very uncharacteristic of him. And now each day she's going back in time, like time travel of sorts, to a different key moment that reveals something as to why all this has happened. And she's trying to think that she needed to stop the crime, but maybe she needs to like go back to a particular point in time where, like, you know, a significant change will create that butterfly effect, ripple effect, and actually make it so that he doesn't kill this person. And we just have had an interesting revelation occur. So I feel like from a theoretical perspective, I should like this book. It's a very interesting concept of, you know, this going back in time to stop a murder. And we're only going from one perspective. Oh no, we are actually deviating between two perspectives, but one of them is quite minor and they're just sort of popped in every now and then. So it's not impacting your reading too much, and it does allow you to resonate with the main character, who is quite likable. So I don't know necessarily what it is. I can't put my finger on it, other than maybe it's just the writing style is the thing that's like not making me gel with this book. But I'm still gonna rate it as a 4 because I do quite like the idea of the storyline, and it definitely does have that thriller element. So considering that we haven't had the best time in July, I really wanted to switch things up for August, and I feel like I have selected 2 books that are definitely going to do that. So the first one, my fiction read, is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I really did enjoy It Ends With Us, and I'm keen to see the movie as well. If you're not familiar to this, I guess, series, if you will, I'll read the blurb on the back. Before It Ends With Us, it started with Atlas. Lily and Ryle have just settled into civil co-parenting rhythm with their daughter Emerson when Lily suddenly runs into Atlas nearly 2 years after they last spoke. Elated that the timing finally seems to be right to give what they have together a real chance, Atlas asks Lily on a date, but Lily's excitement is almost immediately replaced by dread and anxiety when she remembers that Ryle, though no longer her husband, is still very much part of her life. And though Ryle would dislike Lily dating anyone but him, Atlas Corrigan is the one man he absolutely will not stand having his ex-wife and daughter's lives. Told from the told from the perspectives of Lily and Atlas. It starts with us, it gives readers a deeper look into Atlas's past as he and Lily reconnect and rekindle the love they shared as teenagers while navigating a volatile ex-husband who believes Atlas to be the one of the reasons his marriage with Lily ended. If you're someone who is triggered by domestic violence, It Ends With Us is definitely not the read for you. And I obviously haven't read this, so I don't know to what extent those themes are present in this book, but just beware if that is something that you are trying to avoid in terms of content. And the next one I am super excited about. It is The New Rules by Margarita Nazarenko. She is pretty well known on TikTok and then also on YouTube, and I've been following her videos there for some time. She talks a lot about like feminine energy, attachment, relationships, and I'm really just excited to give this a read. The Ultimate Guide to Being Her, Confidence, Dating, Relationships. Says we all want to live the best life we can, but how do we sort through all the confusing messages about how to do that? Margarita Nazarenko tells it like it is when it comes to women and relationships and women's relationships with themselves. A qualified life coach and TikTok sensation, Margarita advises women not only about how to navigate relationships with men, but how to create wonderful lives with or without a relationship. Her message is straightforward. Don't expect to have a great life if you're not creating for itself. The New Rules collects the wisdom Margarita has shared with her followers over all the world, along with her new insights and a bit about Margarita herself in her unique and inimitable style. Margarita is agony aunt, big sister, and best friend rolled into one, and this book is a portable best friend you can carry with you throughout the day and throughout life. I've definitely been getting more into like understanding my thought patterns and behavior, and this idea of like leveling up mentally, I suppose. So I feel like this is going to be a great read and a good way to finish off the winter season and give me like all of those good vibes and like excitement renewal as we press into spring. I have also been borrowing a couple of books from the library. I have already returned 2 that I've read, and this is the pile that I'm currently working on. I'm not including them in my TBR because I am more flicking through them as opposed to reading cover to cover for all of them. Like this one, Recipe for a Kinder Life, I'm not necessarily super interested in the recipes, more the storylines. So I am just going to sort of flick through that bit by bit. Same with this one, Simple Home. It's really cute. Like each month of the year, it's sort of like a yearly guide. It has like a different theme. It might be saving money or like prepping for the new year. So I thought this one was really cute, but it is one that you don't necessarily need to read the whole thing of. This one I am definitely reading the whole thing of, Atomic Habits, and I'm actually making detailed notes of it because I'm finding it super helpful. I'm making like little TikTok videos of all the insights that I'm getting from this book. So I would definitely recommend this one if you want to change some bad habits, start incorporating some new, more positive habits into your life, or even just change your life or your mindset in general. This one is a great one. And then this one is like really sort of cute and practical, but for me, I already have a heap of books already like it. So it's mostly about like different DIY recipes for like beauty or cleaning products, which I've already got a few books like that, and then also some zero waste ideas, which I have a few books like that as well. So I picked this up because I had it on my Amazon wish list for a while, and I didn't end up buying it, but I found it at the library, and I'm glad I didn't buy it because I already have so many books very similar. And then the last one, which I am reading cover to cover as well, is this 24/6, The Power of Unplugging One Day a Week. I am sort of toying with the idea of doing like a tech-free day a week. yeah, I feel like it would be beneficial for my mental health and just my life in general. So I'm reading this to gain a little bit of inspiration first, but that is my library wrap up so far. And I will return some of them and pick up some new ones. I am loving my little library trips of late. This is the sad state of affairs at the end of a food week, but luckily I just did a heap of groceries. So I'm going to unpack these and stock the fridge up. Certainly not the best that I've seen it, but much more organized and a little bit more exciting and enticing, that is for sure. Pantry is also looking stocked and organized as well.
Just where he was needed, gleaming black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing, faces merchant change, but your face remained the same. Swallows will be here by dawn. When we're finally sober, they'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt.
Well, that's going to wrap up things for our August reset. I hope this video has motivated and inspired you to get organized for the new month ahead. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below. I upload new ones every single week. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.